So it's another day and another day of Ironmouse being harassed again. Now, obviously, this has become a big issue in terms of, all of the stuff that's transpired ever since the stream awards and the amount of hate and harassment she's gotten, especially in terms of stuff like her music being taken down, which we covered quite a bit, as well as many other things, for example, like the fake doxing and them trying to use pictures of innocent girls to essentially say it was her when obviously it was not. They just found it on like Pinterest or something like that, which I think is pretty ridiculous. And also, it can be damaging, sorry, to the other girls that were kind of put there and told it was Ironmouse, because they might have received some kind of harassment too if anybody found their pages, right? Because I'm sure that fan base probably did try to kind of like reverse image search a lot of those images to try find out who she really was and whatever, because that's how horrible they are, right? But it seems like we have some more kind of ridiculous kind of stuff going towards her, which I thought was almost so ridiculous that it was kind of funny, right? And if you don't know, obviously Ironmouse recently had her birthday stream, so happy birthday to her. She had a new model and all of this new stuff that went down yesterday, which was really, really cool to see. But they've been going after another one of her models, being this one, right? And this is over on the VTuber Drama subreddit, saying, found this pic / comment on a TikTok calling Ironmouse Loli bait Lamau. What the hell kind of 4th graders did brother go to school with? Which again, I thought was pretty ridiculous. Now, this is obviously Ironmouse's racing, I think, kind of model. Again, I'm not sure on its specific name, but obviously it's like racing gear. It looks really, really cool. And honestly, I think this was the period that I watched Ironmouse the most during this model, so the most familiar with it, I guess. But again, I thought it was really cool design. It does look really, really nice. One of my favorite ones, I'd say, out of a lot of her models, right? And it seems like some people are saying that this is like lolly bait. Now, for example, down here, we can see in the comment section saying, can we be serious for a second? Her avatar looks fresh out of 4th grade. Like, I'm gonna be honest, if you think this looks out of 4th grade, I think you're the problem, right? This person is obviously trying to, make an opinion about the fact of, VTuber models and whatever. And it does become a common debate in the VTubing space, right? Oh, are you being a lolly or whatever? And people like to dog on people for that, essentially saying that they're a PDF for that or whatever, which obviously isn't the case. But obviously they're trying to do the same with Ironmouse here with this one model. But, it's not a lolly. That's one of the big factors here, and is not a kid either. They're saying fresh out of 4th grade. Honestly, I think they are projecting, right? Because if this is how they see a 4th grader, I am actually genuinely concerned for this user, right? I am genuinely concerned for what they think about school children and how they appear, because that is kind of crazy if you see it like that. And obviously you can see down here too, it's only got 7 likes. I think a lot of people went, yeah, we don't agree with that one, bro. All the people that are harassing her in different ways, which I think is quite funny. If you said, bro, said, can we be serious as a brother? You be serious. What 4th grader is looking like that? They say they be feeding growth hormones at his school back in the day, because that's not how an average 4th grader looks. It says, bro, yeah, what little kid is sporting a full I'm not even gonna repeat that. That's a crazy sentence to be in there. But again, yeah, they're totally right with that. There's no 4th grader that looks like this at all in any way, shape, or form, which I think is absolutely crazy, right? And many people say it's because she's pink in anime. They see that, and no matter what else, the large chest, the skimpier attire, the fact that she looks like an adult is null because she's pink in anime. So she must be a child, which obviously is exactly what people were saying, right? So sadly, it kind of is that simple. These people have one brain cell, and they see something cute and pink and they go, it's a child, it's a child. It's very clearly not. It's got several things children do not have, which, yeah, 100% is true. They said it also requires entirely ignoring her personality, which is like 45% gremlin, 30% sass, and 25% bad bitch, and 5% helpless dame. Said there are so many VTubers who play into the lolly tropes, and obviously they think it's gross. Obviously, I'm not making any judgments about that. That's what they say in their kind of reply there. But yeah, they're totally right though. They don't play into any of the lolly kind of thing because she isn't one, first of all. Ironmouse isn't a lolly in the first place, and yeah, she doesn't really kind of go into that I guess way of speaking, way of acting and stuff, because there is a lot of VTubers out there that do that. Now, I don't personally like those VTubers myself. I'm not exactly the biggest fan of watching them, but obviously I can understand why some people would want to. But again, you know, Ironmouse is not one of those, and I think it is pretty funny how many people completely misunderstand who she is and you know, what she actually does, to the point where they're saying, you know, they're trying to imply that you're a PDF for watching her, which I think is pretty crazy, right? So let's be real, these people will look at them as the same as always. Yeah, they say people just grasping at straws to hate on a successful woman. Say that hatred for Ironmouse is almost rivaling like Vox or Syndrome as an elite ball knowledge. Yeah, and obviously say those yeah, are not something that you'd see on Loli bait. The dragon maid were like a word, which obviously, yeah, obviously there is some kind of exceptions in terms of dragon maid and stuff, but I do think at the end of the day, if you just look at the body type of the character, you know, it's clearly an adult, right? And it definitely fits with Ironmouse's character quite a bit, because obviously we know her as this small, you know, adult. She is a small person in general. She's stated it many times on stream. Like, there was one famous clip of her where she said that she couldn't reach the pedals on her car, or whenever she'd like tried to learn to drive or whatever, she couldn't reach the pedals, which was quite funny, right? And I think it is, yeah, obviously, you know, very reminiscent that obviously, yeah, maybe she has a shorter model. I don't even think this is particularly short in that sense, but still, she has a shorter model because obviously it reflects her. And I think a lot of people do miss the point of, like, you know, a lot of people's VTuber models do reflect themselves. As much as people like to claim that, hey, you know, they want to hide who they really are as a person, usually some people will add some small features about themselves, whether it is as small as something being like short or tall or whatever. That's totally, you know, that could be a point that could be added on purpose due to their own personal kind of, you know, appearance or whatever that they want to add into their own character. So again, I do think some people overlook that as well. And again, I think it is pretty crazy that some people are trying to claim that this is, you know, some kind of, you know, weird stuff that is going on, especially with this one model, right? Because, you know, these people do not have the energy to, you know, do it to any of the kind of lolly VTubers out there, right? And I do think that, you know, obviously they would get dogged on if they were to do it anyways, right? But for some reason they decided to do it to Ironmouse due to the fact that, you know, the hate train has been on them, and you know, they've been attacked, they've been harassed, and Spotify is being, you know, obviously copyright struck and all of that kind of stuff. And that's the only reason why they think that way. If there was no harassment, if there was no kind of bandwagon against Ironmouse, then they wouldn't be commenting this kind of stuff. They wouldn't be making such stupid takes like this, because again, it doesn't make sense. Like, this dude doesn't make sense. And people have started to realize that now on TikTok. I might make a separate video about it, because there's been a ton of people in the replies of a lot of the TikToks that have been obviously harassing Ironmouse and stuff like that, actually kind of, you know, being sensible and saying like, hey, a lot of the pictures that these guys are sharing, including obviously the face ones that they claim was her face, obviously it isn't, you know, they're saying a lot of these pictures that they're sharing, these are all just people on Pinterest. Like, I've seen way more comments about that now, which is really good to see, because it seems that people are finally trying to understand exactly what is going on and not be fooled by a lot of the people that are just blindly hating on her, because again, that is exactly what they are doing. They are just hating on her. They don't care about the fact that this doesn't look like a fourth grader at all, and instead they just kind of blurt whatever they want to because it's TikTok comments, and they don't think twice about it. But again, obviously, I think it is just, yeah, crazy. I think it's crazy this can happen, and the harassment has gone way too far. But yeah, that is essentially all there is for this one Ironmouse situation. I just kind of wanted to cover that because I thought it was ridiculous. As I said, it's so ridiculous to the point where I find it kind of funny, because obviously nobody in this comment section, nobody even in the comment section on the original video is saying like, oh yeah, damn, you might be onto something, you know, oh okay, maybe. No, everybody's just like, dude, what the hell are you talking about? Because it is so insane, right? It's crazy. But yeah, that's about all I got for this video. If you guys did enjoy it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Go to GameStop, use my code Kaza, get 10% off. Again, they got a ton of really cool stuff over there. Definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.